Troves are the layer that brings Upland together. That's right, we dropped this announcement today, Troves Connect Everything, where we go over a little more detail on what Troves mean for Upland. We've been dropping a lot of announcements lately. The point of this announcement was to tie it all together. A lot of what we talked about here are in other announcements, so none of this is new. If you're expecting something new and revolutionary, this is not that announcement. This is just trying to bring it all into one place and clarify, hopefully, for you on how Troves work in Upland and how they will work in Upland in the future. If you've not read this announcement, go read it. As always, this is just a 10,000 foot view. We're not going over everything, but we are going over the main points here. So hopefully this helps out. Suffice it to say, I hope after reading this, going over this video, you can see why we Upland are so excited about Troves and how everything we've been building over the last year connects directly into Troves and how it really, I think, doubles down on the foundation of Upland, which is properties and location. So what are Troves? Troves are the layer that brings Upland together. The simple idea is this: gameplay connects to location. Troves are that connection. Exploring the map, caring for plants, using structures, visiting neighborhoods, participating in activities, for instance, like racing or treasure hunting, can all become ways that players gain Troves, that players earn Troves. Then those Troves can be used somewhere else, in recipes at service structures. You'll be able to take your Troves to service structures, and there will be recipes unlocked, and you'll be able to use them there for different types of rewards. You can get more rare Troves back. You may be able to complete recipes to befriend an Uppie, or even Uppies, or Sparklet, or Stem for that matter. You can get back as a reward by participating in Upland, by exploring the map, etc., etc. So that's the big shift here. Troves turn all these things that used to be separate actions into one connected gameplay layer in Upland, and that's why we're so excited about it. So Troves, let me go down here. First, obviously, we talk about, hey, we've been setting the stage for this. This is residents. We've talked about in the last year, residents, Uppies, structures, service structures were introduced live. You could see here is residents. And then Troves now are the connecting layer. I'm actually going to stay on this because this is a cool image of future farm Troves, which are very, very exciting. But Troves are not just another collectible. First of all, they are account bound. So don't forget, as you earn them, they will be tied to your account. They are the shared layer, though, between what you do in Upland and where you do it. So how do I earn Troves? So a player can gain Troves, can earn Troves by doing a few things. Exploring the maps. There's one map, not maps, but the different continents are maps, right? The different cities are maps. But you can explore the map of Upland, and across the map, you'll be able to care for plants. There will be Troves at different structures. You can interact with those structures. Caring for your plants gets you Troves. Visiting different neighborhoods, you'll be able to get Troves. Using service structures, participating in activities. For instance, I'll use treasure hunting and racing as the example here. That's the example that we use inside of Upland. You will be able to do future things like farming and fishing and trade routes. All of those things are how you will be able to gain Troves. Now, the important part here is that location starts to matter, and it starts to matter more. It already matters, but now it starts to matter more. What you own matters because you'll be getting different Troves based on what you own. Where you build matters because, again, that's where you'll be collecting Troves. What you interact with matters. How you play matters. That's the thing of Troves. Now, the core idea behind Troves is that outputs can become inputs, and inputs are outputs, etc., etc. So the easiest way to understand Troves is inputs and outputs. Almost anything in Upland can output Troves. Properties, structures, plants, service structures, and then, like I said, activities. And those Troves can then become inputs somewhere else. You bring them to a service structure, you use them in a recipe. That recipe creates a new output, such as progression, different types of progression, rare Troves, Sparklet, Uppies, Stem, Yield even, Uppies, or other opportunities that are out there. So the example that we use, I actually want to read the example here. Where do we say? For example, right here. So let's go over this example because I think it's pretty good. Just to give you an idea of how to work. So for example, a player might collect Troves by caring for plants across Upland or by discovering them through structures and activities around the map. You go around, you collect all these different types of Troves. In the future, other systems like fishing, farming, trade routes, racing, treasure hunting, and more will also connect into Troves, giving players different ways to gain rewards based on how they choose to play. Those Troves can then be used in recipes at service structures, A bakery might turn wheat and milk troves into bread. Maybe you need 5 wheat and 6 milk, and that becomes bread. And maybe an uppie that you came across the map has requested bread, and so you can use that bread to help befriend that uppie. A workshop might turn resource troves into crafted goods. A kitchen, shop, or other service structure might require different combinations or troves to produce rare troves, sparklet, stem, uppies, or other rewards. Now, let's talk about uppies real quick. Do I have uppies here? We'll go to uppies. There we go. Let's talk about uppies real quick, and then we'll go over the bullet points that we included in the announcement, and then we'll finish and wrap this bad boy up. But uppies add another layer here. So uppies are one path inside this bigger loop. So as players explore Upland, as you go around the map, you will find uppies who request specific troves from you. Some of those troves may only come from certain recipe outputs. And that creates this clear loop where you collect the right troves. Maybe I've got to take my heart troves and turn them in at this recipe to get back this different type of trove that the uppie has requested for me so that eventually I can befriend that uppie, right? So you collect the right troves, you bring them to the right service structure, you run the right recipe, you create the item or the output that the uppie wants for you, you fulfill the request, and then you befriend the uppie. Okay, so I've befriended the uppie. What does that mean? That means I own the uppie. I've minted the uppie. The uppie is mine. But what do I do with that uppie? Well, that uppie can now be employed as long as it's a level 5 or higher. So if you don't have a level 5 or higher, you're going to have to merge your uppies to get them up to a level 5 or higher. At a level 5 or higher, they can be employed at service structures. Well, why do I want to employ them at service structures? Because the higher level service structures will unlock better recipes. Better recipes will create more rare troves. And that's an example of how one uppie request can connect a couple different aspects, right? You connect exploration, recipes, service structures, progression, you correct location on the map. So it all ties together there, but that's how uppies play into all of this. Let's go through this bullet point list here because I think this is a good summary of how it all ties together. So properties, give players a place to build, create, and participate. Structures and assets give those properties more purpose. We already know that. We know that through residents. You want more residents on your property, more residents. That's where uppies will be attracted to those types of neighborhoods where you'll be able to befriend them, etc., etc. Life adds utility through plants and future dynamic systems. For instance, plants, you can care for them and get troves. Also, they're dynamic. They grow, they die, they change within a season, which makes Upland unlike ever before. By the way, loving everyone's decorations and how people are putting together their properties. So cool since life has come in. Activities like fishing, racing, treasure hunting, farming, and trade routes, they create more ways to collect troves. Service structures give troves purpose through recipes. Uppies bring personality. They bring culture, I think. They bring friendship, and they bring new opportunities to then go level up your service structures, to then level up your troves, your unlock recipes. Troves connect it all into one broader gameplay system. The other big takeaway here is that, like we've mentioned a few times now, you don't have to play every system the same way as everyone else. This is the beautiful thing about the Trove systems. You're going to be able to play how you want, where you want, when you want. I like just throwing those together. Some players may earn troves through plants. They may dive all in on plants and go all out on decorating properties and neighborhoods. Some through just exploration. As a new player, for instance, I can jump in and I'll be able to start grinding for troves right away. That's a big thing here is the new player onboarding experience is going to be wildly different than it's been in the past. It's going to be much easier. It's going to be much natural feeling. Hey, I jump in, I can start collecting troves right away, and then I can understand, okay, this is a cool neighborhood. This is why I want a property in this neighborhood. This is what service structures do. This is what buildings do. Oh, I want to build those. Okay, I'm while I'm collecting troves, exchanging them for recipes, etc., etc. Some can focus on service structures and building up neighborhoods. Some will focus on racing. Some will focus on fishing, farming, trade routes, or even treasure hunting. The troves all feed into the same connected progression loop inside of Upland, and that's the core idea. Troves make what you do matter. Troves make where you do it matter. And troves make how you choose to play matter. And that's the beautiful thing about troves. Again, very excited. Hopefully this helped answer some of your questions and connect some of the dots here for you. Go read this announcement in full. There's a lot more here that we didn't necessarily cover. We just tried to hit the main bullet talking points here. So again, we're very excited about troves. You're going to hear more about troves during Genesis week, so stay tuned for that. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and we'll see you in Upland. Bye-bye.